right, so what was going on last time we read this story?
They were down in the drain and they met a rat.
And they met a rat. Do you remember what the rat's name was? Because it was really silly.
Skip?
No.
Dig?
Close. He had an itch, so he had to... Scratch. His name was Scratch. And then he had a wife. And what was the wife's name?
And Dig.
It was Scratch and...
Sniff.
Scratch and Sniff, right? And what had they just found out?
They just found out that that they're in the mines about to get eaten.
They were getting ready to get eaten. And the title of this next chapter is Lunch. So what do you think is going to happen in this chapter?
They're going to get eaten.
They're going to get eaten. So what I thought we'd do is I will let you read a page, and then I'll read a page, okay? All right. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
The worst thing about being freaky, little bug Greek, and knowing too much, and the worst thing about being a spider was being able to think so much faster than a human. Being able to think so much faster than a human. Josh had read in this many wildlife books that everything moves as fast as the world of spiders and insects that must have been quicker to survive. And now he knew it was true. As he flew through the air, stuck in a pink thing, stuck to a pink thing. He had time to figure out quite a few things.
Right.
He figured out first of all, he stuck his tongue out to the toad. He figured it was probably not going to unstick himself, but he figured out it was probably to be eaten alive.
He knew that toads eat their prey alive. They don't mind at all if their lunch kicks and complains as it goes down. For the first time ever in his life, Josh wished he hadn't read so many wildlife books. As he flew helplessly towards the toad's gaping mouth, Josh twisted around. He got a hold of some of the long tongue, drove his fangs into it, and squirted some venom in. The tongue didn't let go. There was no hope. He was toad takeout. So what just happened? What did Josh try to do?
He tried to put venomous and try to get the toad to get off of those.
And it didn't work, did it?
Crunch, splat, quish. That was the end of me, thought Josh. Funny, only it felt a little bump. He opened his eyes. Then 6 or 7 more sticky tongues of it still attached to his shoulder and being corrected, and then the other end.
No, hold on. His shoulder or thorax.
He was being correct, but the other end was no longer attached to the toad. It lay flat under the big black boot. Someone had stomped on the toad. Stomping on it. Maybe.
Read this again. One more time for me. Someone had
stamped.
Yeah.
On the toad. Stamped on it. Behind him, Josh could hear anguished cries from Danny and Scratch and Sniff. They must have been. He was done for. Josh stood up. He found all his legs were shaking with fright. Then he ran away before whoever it was who could stamp on him too. The tongue felt, ew. It came away from the edge of the boot. It snaked along behind him like a weird scarf. It skipped with bouncing rocks and fallen trees, which once been just twigs and pebbles, and he was a boy.
I love when they said that it bent like a scarf, like it snaked around like a scarf on a tree. What were they talking about snaking around?
Like there's just he was running around.
Well, let's look real quick. The tongue followed him. Ew! It came away from the edge of the boat. It snaked along him like a weird scarf.
Oh, it was like washing around him.
It was the
toad's tongue.
Yeah, his tongue was snaking around on him. As he reached, Danny and their rat friend Josh yelled for the first time ever, "Get it off! Get it off! Get it off me!" Scratch leaned over. He tugged the half a tongue with his teeth. It squelched and popped as it finally came off. "We thought you were a goner, son," said Scratch. He spit out the tongue and hustled them all beneath an old log. "We thought you was lunch. Nobody's ever gotten away from Gripper. Not ever. If he hadn't just got stamped on, you'd be down his throat by now." Poor Josh gulped. Danny went in to put a comforting arm or leg around him, but just couldn't make that work somehow. Whoever got comfort from a spider's leg, he wondered. "We've got to find a way to get back to being humans again," he said, "or we'll never make it to dinner time." "Well, I hate to say it," said Sniff, "but Petty Potts is most likely the only one who can help you." "But how will she know it's us? She might just stamp on us like someone just stamped on that toad," squeaked Danny.
He looked around anxiously. The owner of the boot, who had been screened from view in the leaves in the large bush, seemed to have gone. "No, she wouldn't stamp on you. She neither wastes insects," said Scratch.
Do you remember that word?
Arachnids.
Good job.
Corrected Josh. Everyone gave him a look. "And didn't you see it was Petty Potts who just stamped on Gripper?" added Scratch. "She was probably after him for another one of her experiments." Scratch peered out from under the log. "She made a gap for her back fence so she can get down here and kidnap innocent creatures for Celeb. Can't see her now," thought. "She must have gone back to the Grimmer's gooey bits. I think you can make there too. You should take her back too. Maybe she'll help you. Maybe you can find a way to show her you are who you are. Well, let's at least check for some more toads. Before we go," Josh shivered. The edge of his leg got ranked around the tree. Yes, he ran right into, probably,
Up it. Good prediction, though. Up it so fast.
Shocked him.
He shocked himself. "Look at me, Danny. Look at me. I am up the tree," he yelled excitedly. He forgot to be afraid. Danny lost no time in catching up. He was the athletic one after all. He wasn't going to be beaten to the top by Josh. "Woohoo!" he called, overtaking Josh. "I'm a superhero! I can walk up walls." "Steady now," called up Scratch from the lower part of the trunk. He was scrabbling a little way